Good afternoon. Here is the news direct from Gosford. The New South Wales Government has confirmed that the financial commitment of $12 million was made on the basis that the Regional Performing Arts Centre is to be constructed on the corner of Dane Drive and Vaughan Avenue, Gosford, as identified in the Our City, Our Destiny Master Plan. The Minister for Planning, Mr Rob Stokes, has confirmed that the $12 million investment into Gosford's Regional Performing Arts Centre, announced in March this year, is based on the development at the identified site at Gosford Park. It must be remembered, he says, that many years of hard work and public consultation has gone into the planning of this project as part of the Gosford Waterfront Master Plan, and this was endorsed by Gosford City Council in August 2013. He goes on to say that we cannot afford to be known as a region that cannot be trusted to know what they are doing and sticking to the plan. Local Terrigal member Mr Adam Crouch goes on to say the park has become affectionately known as Poppy Park and was always planned as a moving memorial. He says he believes it should be placed in Terrigal Haven next year. Going on to say there is no reason why a wonderful tribute to the Anzacs cannot be planned as a permanent water feature in the foyer of a new performing arts centre. The federal government apparently will be watching closely the decisions made by Gosford City Council before they commit matching funds to this project. Councillor Laurie McKenna, the Mayor of Gosford, said he questioned why the New South Wales Government would not honour its $12 million pledge just because the Performing Arts Centre moves a few metres down the road. The battle for Gosford Waterfront is heating up. Well, we move over to more watery things, from the waterfront to the Pacific Ocean, where this week a baby fail whale got caught its tail in a shark net. The story from Soldiers Beach, just off Nora Head, where a baby humpback whale was caught in the rope of a newly located shark net. New South Wales Parks and Wildlife were called to the scene, as were the local Surf Life Saving Association and Orca, the Save the Whale organisation. It all ended well after many hours of cutting and wrenching, and the baby whale is no longer a fail and has started to move south for the summer. A great news story. Hawkesbury River oyster farmers are in dire need of help. This, according to sources inside Gosford Council and the industry itself. Many Hawkesbury River oyster farmers have been unable to generate income due to the proliferation of POMS, that is the Pacific Oyster Mortality Syndrome, but are still required to pay fees and lease payments. The waiving of lease associated fees would assist oyster growers to get back on their feet, and Council is requesting the state member for Hornsby apply to the New South Wales Minister for Primary Industries to introduce these financial relief measures. Prior to the outbreak of POMS, there were 15 Hawkesbury River oyster businesses that produced almost $2.4 million worth of oysters annually. However, there are only 3 oyster operators on the river, now all of whom are struggling to meet costs. Let's hope there's a good and sensible solution to that problem. Meanwhile, in federal parliament, the Central Coast was the subject of some consternation in the Senate NBN rollout inquiry. A Senate hearing has been told that 1 in every 7 NBN connections on the Central Coast had failed due to rotten copper wiring. Senator for New South Wales, Ms Deborah O'Neill, asked NBN Co CEO, Mr Bill Morrow, whether he was aware that 14% of residents in Gorican had been unable to connect to the NBN due to the poor condition of the copper wiring leading from the box in the street to their homes, in the so-called fibre to the node solution. Mr Morrow said he was unaware of such a failure rate, but admitted there is more propensity for failure on a copper network than fibre. The NBN boss told a Senate estimates hearing on communications in Canberra that he believed it was wrong to paint the copper network as bad and evil, because it's not. Miss O'Neill said that despite Mr Morrow's attempts to sell copper to the hearing, the people on the Central Coast were not buying it. Especially informed businesses have access to original NBN fibre and is proving to be both reliable and of high speed. More hearings are expected on that issue as the fibre to the node government rollout proceeds across the region.